Folks, welcome back to Nostalgianomics. Now look, I don't know how I assumed the position of the hobby's eternal optimist. I don't know who chose me or how I was chosen to be the guy to constantly talk sense into everyone out there, all the Chicken Littles who thinks the sky is constantly falling. But that's what I have to do again today because I constantly see more doom and gloom out there. It's all we see on the news. The debt ceiling's not going to get raised. The banks are all going to fail. The US dollar is going to zero. The whole world's going to collapse, right? And all I can really do to combat that is consistently, continually show the real numbers of how things are actually going, because you can basically take any subsect of data and get on the news or get on CNBC and make everyone panic, and it makes you want to, sell everything you own, go live in a cave, drink cave water, and, forage for berries and live like it's BC. And I don't have a time machine, so I can't take my box cutter and go fight the boogeyman of the future and tell you everything's going to be okay. But what I can do is continually show the real data and hopefully bring a few of you back down, bring the anxiety level down, show you that things aren't really as bad as they look, show you also that probably a lot of the millionaires or billionaires are continuing to hold, if not buy more in this time, because they know when all the fear and doom and gloom is going on, that's where the opportunities are. So I'm going to show you how things are actually going, and then you can make the decision for yourself on how you want to continue to approach the hobby and your investing. And if you do decide you just want to, sell it all, go live under a bridge and beg for change, you can do that as well. I'm not mad at you if you want to do that. So let's start off with the S&P, right? Because the S&P, it's top 500 companies in the nation. It gives an idea of how, everything's going in terms of business. So here's the S&P chart year to date. As you can see, is at its year-to-date high, meaning 2023 is a good year. It has been good to business, all right? People will say, okay, that's a small subset of data. You need to show further out. No problem. Let's go out a year. It's around its year high, other than this small spike back last year. It's basically at its year high. If we want to go farther out to the max this side will let me go, back to, around 2000 or 1990s, it's near its all-time high, okay? Here's another little fun fact. You guys remember the whole .com, internet Y2K crash we had back when all the, internet companies were going out of business? Here it is back here. Ready? Whoop. That was it. That was the whole crash. Oh yeah, remember the whole 07, 08 crash with the real estate? Here it is right here. Whoop. That was it. That was the whole crash. That was it. Okay, so now obviously we had a bigger run up before the pandemic, so we had a little larger crash. But look, now things are leveling out. Things are back to okay. Let's go look at the NASDAQ, right? These are the companies of the future. These are the tech companies, the AI, all the, computer chips, all that type of stuff. Let's see how these are doing, all right? So again, year to date, that is year to date high. 1 year, it's at its 1 year high. If we want to go all the way out, it's getting near its all-time high again. Again, if you want to go back to when the NASDAQ saw its huge plunge back with that huge, .com bubble, here it is, ready? Whoop, that was it. That was it. That's the whole crash. Go to 08, 07, 08. Here it is. From here to whoop. That's the whole crash. We did it. We crashed. Now we're back on the rise. Do you see how if you bought into all the panic back here, how much worse off you would be not staying the course? That's the theme of this whole video today. Stay the course. All right. That's what the millionaires and billionaires do. They don't sell everything they own and jump out and panic. All right. Let's move on. Okay. Now we got an ad. Sorry. All right, so now I'm going to jump out a little further to some of the, the bank stocks, right? Because everyone heard, banks are failing, everything's going to zero. No, that's not what happened. What's happening is some of the banks that made poor investments, poor financial decisions, they got caught. They got caught with an ever-changing market, with interest rates changing, and they didn't have enough capital. They didn't have enough liquid funds. They didn't have enough, options to pivot, and that's why they saw these gigantic crashes, and some of them even went bankrupt. So here's Bank of America. Here's how Bank of America is doing. So this is the max chart. So here was the crash, right? And here's how it's been doing lately, all right? It's has some ebbs and flows, but as you can see, it's basically kind of right where it was always at around, back in the 90s and 2000s, right? It's nowhere near its highs, but it's getting there. But things seem on the up and up. Doesn't seem like anything's crashing. We can look at JP Morgan Chase, the biggest bank in the nation. It's nearing its all-time highs. It's nearing its all-time highs, okay? It's not seeing any sign of crashing, all right? So if we go look at some other things, look at Costco, right? Consumer spending's down. No one's got money to spend on groceries. Here's Costco. Costco is at its all-time highs. If we go look at the 1 year chart, very steady. No big giant crashes. Business as usual. Another thing you hear, no one can afford vehicles. Interest rates are too high. No one can buy cars. Well, Ford looks like business as usual. This goes back to the 80s. There's some spikes and some drops, but everything looks like business as usual. Nothing's crashing. Sales don't look too bad. Everything looks to be chugging along like it ever was. Then what else do you hear? You hear about housing, right? No one can afford housing now. Interest rates are too high. No one's buying housing. The prices are coming down. Okay, well, this chart doesn't say that. Here's the year-to-date chart of median existing homes, all right? Beginning of the year, median existing homes were in the 360s, dropped down in the low 360s, right? Now they're in the 380s. Okay, we've seen getting close to a 10% price rise already this year. Already. In a matter of months, when we're in the doom and gloom cycle of everything's going to zero, right? Home prices are going down. No one can afford them. Look, if you want to search out news articles, some of these open houses are still getting 100 plus people showing up to them wanting to buy the house because they just can't find anything they want on the market. All right. Same thing goes for, this is average prices for new homes. All right. Here's the full chart. Going back to the 90s for new homes, right? Here's the big real estate crash. Here it is. 07. Whoop. That was it. That was it. That's the big giant real estate crash. And then business as usual up. And now if we look at how things are going this year to date, 2023, okay, we've seen some downturns from March, but if we go back to the beginning of the year, in the 490s, now it's in the 500s, overall, we're still seeing growth. So things may be slowing, but nowhere near crashing. And so with all that being said, let's pull that back to the Pokemon market. All right, so I'm gonna jump over to eBay here. And I'm gonna go through everything. So I'm even gonna talk about vintage because a lot of I'm not the biggest fan of investing in vintage, but you gotta give credit where credit is due. Even vintage cards are moving up at a substantial rate in this market with everything going to zero here soon, right? Sell everything you own. All right, so here we go. Here is what Phantom Forces boxes are selling for now. They're selling around $2,000, all right? If we rewind back to what they were going for beginning of the year, they were selling in the 1400s. We're talking about a 30% plus price increase in a matter of months. Now, that doesn't look like anyone's too worried about the collectible market failing. That doesn't look like consumers are losing their spending power to me. Let's move on, though. Let's look at a less popular set like Steam Siege. It's selling for in the 300s. Here's 330. There's one down here for 250 plus shipping. There's one here for 315. Okay? What was it selling for at the beginning of the year? Low twos. Low twos. So, at very least, if you want to take that 250 sales, very least 10%. At very best, 30, 40% up. Not too bad for the worst set in the XY era. All right. Going to TCG Player now. I didn't use TCG Player for the XY because it's harder to find sales data. I'm not trying to pull any funny business. That's the only reason I used it. TCG Player. Cosmic Eclipse, right? Sun and Moon. I didn't want to take Team Up. That's not being fair. But Cosmic Eclipse, right? $900 a box. Here's the chart, right? If you want to look at the chart for the last 3 months, straight up. Let's go to the recent sales history, though. All right, so you can actually see they're selling $900, $800, $795. These are loose packs. All right, so they're actually selling in the 800s, 900s. If we want to scroll back to the beginning of the year, here you go. 650, 600, 600. That's what boxes we're going for. 30% plus price move in a matter of a few months. If we want to look at Crimson Invasion, the worst set of that era, you can see the chart straight up. Beginning of the year, these boxes were going in the 160s, and now they are selling in the 180s. So again, 10, 15, almost 20% price move. Not bad for the worst set in the whole era. And then we go to Sword and Shield and look at Silver Tempest. I didn't want to take one of the stonks. I wanted to be, more realistic. Here's the Silver Tempest. You can see beginning of the year. Here's the beginning of the year right here, January. It was in the 120s. Now it's selling in the 140s. Battle Style, same way. Beginning of the year right here, back in January, it was in the $100 range, and now we are up in the 1-teens. So 10, 15% price move for both of those as well. Now, it doesn't stop there. I'm almost done. Just stay with me. I'm going to single cards now. Like I told you, even vintage is getting a piece of the pie of this market. So here we go. Here is a first edition Snorlax Jungle, right? Beginning of the year, back in March, right? It was selling in the 500, 480, in that high 400, low 500 range at auction, right? Fast forward to now. $645 at auction. $1,025 our best offer. We go down here. We have a $999 our best offer. $676. These are selling in the mid to high 600s. And they were just at $500 at the beginning of the year. Again, 30% price move even on vintage. Another vintage card. Blaine's Charizard. Beginning of the year, $875 for a PSA 9, about $840, a little less for a Beckett 9. Fast forward to now, $1,025 at auction. $1,025, $1,150 or best offer. Again, about a 30% price move. I got 20. We'll say 20, 25% price move. Again, even vintage slabs are getting a piece of this. Go to Modern. Everyone knows I love XY, so I thought I'd show an XY card. Alakazam. This thing's selling like crazy. This is the, what do we call it? The secret rare of Fates Collide, all right? So beginning of the year, selling for around $400, $348. So, $350 to $400. Fast forward to today, $485, $475, $460. On the rise. About 20% price move. Here's a good one here. Shining Legends, right? The Mewtwo. $400 auction back in March, right? $444, $377 out of country, $425 our best offer. It was a $400 card. That's what it was selling for. Fast forward to now, $540, $725 our best offer. This is an actual sale. Don't know if it was actually paid for, but someone apparently paid $740, $550. So we're talking again, 30 to 40% price move this year. So what can you take from all this? Well, one, the actual business economy is strong. You can see that from the stock market. The consumer economy is strong. The houses are selling. They're rising in value. The cars are steadily selling, right? Costco, people are still spending extra on buying, bulk groceries. You can look at the banks. The banks aren't failing. The less capitalized, the weaker ones are failing, right? The ones who can't deal with the ebbs and flows of the market, they're the ones failing. The big guys aren't. And then we go to the Pokemon market. Pokemon is up across the board. Doesn't matter if you're in sealed, doesn't matter if you're in singles, doesn't matter if you're in slabs. It doesn't matter if you're in vintage, doesn't matter if you're a modern, doesn't matter if you're an ultra modern. Now I get you can go cherry pick some items here and there that have seen, ebbs and flows that have went down, especially in ultra modern, but the overall consensus is people are buying, people are not panic selling. If you look at the market, the millionaires, the billionaires, all the big, they're continuing to hold their positions. They're adding to their positions in the market. They don't see the market crashing, right? The price of the real estate going up. The real estate investors, they don't see the market crashing. So tell me why you watch a few YouTube videos and then your feed gives you all negative videos. You watch a few TikToks and then TikTok's algorithm gives you all negative videos and you see all the doom and gloom and that's all you start to believe. Tell me why you haven't stepped back, let yourself come down, let the anxiety level drop, and look around and say, you know what? Maybe things aren't as bad as they're made out to be. And that is really the whole purpose of this video, is to try to bring everyone kind of back down to earth, try to bring you back in. I get there's a lot of bad out there if you want to start turning the news on every day. And it'll get you scared to go outside, right? It'll think you're going to get shot. It'll think you're going to get robbed. It'll make you think, the collectibles are going to go to zero. The US dollar is going to crash. We're going to be living like Venezuela. It'll make you think all that stuff. And hey, the future's a mystery. Maybe all that'll happen. Like I said, I can't go do battle with the boogeyman in the future. I can't do it. All I can do is live in the here and now like everyone else. But tell me when fear and anxiety has ever done anyone any good. It's important to plan. It's important to keep track and know where the market's at and where it's heading and get an idea of world events. But don't let them scare you into submission. I hope everyone out there continues to do well in the hobby. I hope you don't get scared out, and I hope you don't let all the fear mongers get you. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great Memorial Day weekend with your families. I'll be back here in a new video soon. I'm out.